So Brian and I were just talking about what we've gotten wrong and what we've gotten right this season. And do we remember what we gotten right and wrong? But I do remember we got the Falcons wrong. We didn't really believe the hype.
That's true, yeah.
And Kirk Cousins looked like a statue the first, 2 or 3 weeks. And now he looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league again.
All right, so I will say this. I was big on the Buccaneers. So before their injuries, I would say that there was a chance there for the Buccaneers before their entire team got decimated. But that's why I was more against Falcons. It was more I thought they weren't as good as, not that they weren't as good, but the Buccaneers were going to be just as good. And I do think before the injuries that was very, very, very likely. But I agree. I still didn't see the Falcons being 6-3. So I agree with you there. That was one we did not see. I know another one that I absolutely got wrong.
What's that? But hold on, before you say that one.
Yeah.
We just didn't believe the hype.
Yes.
That's what it was. It's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype. Another one of those was the Bears. And we got that one right.
I do think we got that one right. I do think the Bears is one that we both got right. And a lot of hype around it. It's sometimes these rookie quarterbacks, it's so hard to take that. I mean, you're a rookie. I mean, Jane Daniels is doing it with Washington. There's been examples of it, but it's so hard. And I do think Chicago has other issues with coaching, some of the moves they've made. Defense is great, though, and I think they'll be good long term, but I think Caleb's a little sped up in his process. Yeah, he's a little raw. And I think it's going to take 2 to 3 years before he's fully ready to take that next step into that top 10, 12 quarterback area. So that I do agree. That's one that we got wrong. And their division is just impossible. It's such a tough division.
Yeah, I mean...
have you seen their schedule, the Bears' schedule coming up?
Bad.
They play the Patriots. So that's, this week, which is easy. And then they have 7 games after that. It's the 6 division opponents and San Francisco are their last 7 games. All 6, and then San Francisco. Like, they could lose every single one of those games. They probably won't. They'll win a couple division games probably. But I don't see more than 3 wins. You got the Patriots, and then you probably win 2, maybe 3. So they're looking at a 7-9, probably 8-9 record. Best case scenario. I just don't see them beating the Lions twice. I can see them splitting with the Packers and maybe splitting with the Vikings. But I think they'll lose both the Lions. And probably lose to San Fran.
Yeah, especially with CMC coming back, which is something we'll probably talk about in a minute. But so going back to was it the NFC South?
Mm-hmm.
So we said the Saints could either win the division or come in last. The first 2 weeks. We didn't know the Cowboys were going to stink. And Carolina is, who's worse, Saints or Carolina?
I still think Carolina's worse. I did think it was funny, though. Cameron Jordan tweeted out, "I'm sorry, New Orleans, we just lost. We just lost to the Panthers or whatever." And it's like, dude, you guys have the same record and you lost to them. You can't be apologizing to be losing to the Panthers. You are technically worse than the Panthers.
Who else did they beat?
The Panthers?
Yeah.
God, it was Andy Dalton's first game.
Oh yeah, it was. Was it? I think it wasn't that bad of a team. Hold on, I'm going back. Yeah, it's that new quarterback. Here we are. Mentality.
Who the hell was it?
I'm pulling it up. It was. Oh, it was the Raiders.
Okay, yeah.
Raiders.
That's not surprising in the slightest.
Yeah, the Raiders are brutal. All right, who else did we get wrong? Do you remember?
So I know for me, we picked Bengals, but yeah, we'll just say we got the Bengals wrong.
I don't think the Bengals are dead.
Yeah, they're not dead.
They win if they win Thursday, they're right back in it.
Big game coming up on Thursday, which will be, I'm pumped to watch that game. Obviously, technically right now I'd say we're wrong on the Bengals. Still have a good chance to make the playoffs. Not going to win the division, like I think we both thought. I had the Dolphins winning the AFC East.
Yikes.
2-7. Part of that's to his injury, but I remember when we were going through our division predictions, and I don't know how, but I ended up with the Dolphins when we were talking through it, and that was probably the worst. pick on the entire season.
They've had bad. I mean, losing Tua is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's not that bad, and they looked like they were alive against the Bills last week. So was it last week? Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem is now they're 2-6. It's just so hard to come back. Like you essentially need to go undefeated, maybe lose one more game, and I don't think that team is good enough to do that, regardless if Tua's back or not. You just dug yourself in such a big of a hole that it's going to be very, very hard to dig out of. Another one I was wrong about, Steelers. I think I had them last in the division during our season predictions, and I just thought this was fine. I think I said it. This is going to be the year that Tomlin does not finish over 500.
Yeah,
Yikes.
well,
big win.
Yeah, big yikes. Big yikes. We did say the Browns were either going to win the division or come in last. I do remember that.
Yep.
And I want to take a victory lap on the Arizona Cardinals right now while I can.
And they're 5-4 and leading the division.
They're 5-4 leading the division. They got they have the Jets this week. So
yes.
That's
another one. You were big on the Jets.
Hey, they're not dead. Same with the Bengals. They're not dead.
Jets are so dead.
They're not dead yet. They could go. They can go 11-6.
Well, what? Yeah, they have to win out. They got Cardinals. All right, how many wins Jets got here? So what? They're 3-6 right now. They got Cardinals.
Are you asking me if it's for sure wins?
Can they?
Or okay, yeah, yes.
Or how many wins? Yeah, okay. How many wins? Colts. I would say yes.
Yes.
Seahawks.
Yes.
Dolphins. Yeah.
Yes.
Jaguars.
Yes.
Rams.
Yes.
Bills.
No.
Dolphins.
Yes.
So they have 7 winnable games. Yeah, 7 winnable games out of 8.
That's a lot more than I thought it would be.
Me too. I hadn't looked at their schedule, but it's easier than I anticipated. I mean, I think the Cardinals are going to be a tough game. Seahawks are going to be tough. Rams will be tough. Bills, obviously. That's 4 probably toss-up games, and then Dolphins. Those will be tough. Just with kind of we just talked to is back. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they'll still be a tough team. The only team on their schedule that's like a cakewalk, I think, is the Jaguars. But I agree with you. There's games
none of these games will be a cakewalk because it's the NFL. But yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I actually remembered what I wanted to talk about today. Just now, because I'm looking at the standings, I was gonna have us go through each division and cross off, or if you believe in any of the bottom 2 teams of each division. Do you want to do that really quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, AFC East. Do you believe in the Dolphins or Patriots rest of season?
No. I mean, I think the Dolphins, like we just said, will be competitive in a few games, but they've dug themselves too deep of a hole where there's just no chance. There's no way that they make the playoffs.
I couldn't agree more with that. AFC North. Bengals, Browns.
I'm going to say yes with the Bengals. Although I don't really believe that much. I've still got a little pessimistic view for the Bengals, but they're not dead. I don't think they're dead. I think, Joe Burrow's playing quarterback as well as anybody in the NFL right now, and
I agree.
They always have a chance to win games. Again, this game if they win in Thursday night in Baltimore, they're making the playoffs. If they lose, they still have a chance because they play Chargers and Steelers twice and the Broncos. So those are all 3 teams that are probably fighting for the wild card spot with the Bengals. So they still have a chance. It's not a must-win game on Thursday, but I still do believe, I think with Joe Burrow, you have a chance. Browns dead. Just absolutely dead.
Can I want to ask you, since we're talking about Joe Burrow, so in our group chat, Brian's support group, that's the group chat name, a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers' body language, his faces, people not liking it. Burrow gets a pass?
I feel like it's different.
How? Because he's better looking?
No, that's not why. I think it's because I don't know. It just feels different.
It's the same energy. Do you think it's more Rodgers blaming his players?
Correct. That's exactly where I was going.
Joe's blaming himself.
Yes, I think Rodgers is a lot of times you see those expressions like other people rolling his eyes, whereas Burrow's is more of an internal fire in himself and belief that he needs to be perfect. Whereas if Rodgers, even when Rodgers talks in press conferences, it seems like he passes some of the blame off of some of his teammates instead of taking that leadership role. Whereas I feel the opposite with Burrow. But this was also the first time we've seen this from Burrow in this case. He's never really done that before. It's not something that's, ever been a part of his style.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
I like Burrow, but Burrow blames his team, saying we're not playing as bad. He says it more like that, like we aren't playing as bad. Aaron Rodgers in his press conferences says, "I need to play better," as well, and then he points fingers at other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, "I need to play better, and also we need to do this, we need to do that. Our offensive line needs to do better. Our receivers need to do better." However he says it, I feel like he always says, "I need to play better," and then goes on to the rest of the team. But then he also goes on the Pat McAfee show every Tuesday. And if you ever hear him talk, he says nothing but positive things.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is it's kind of the same.
It's fair. I hadn't thought about it that way. But I don't know why. It just feels different. And it's something I'm curious to see what happens with it, because that was the first time he's ever really been that way. But I mean, his was like after throwing a touchdown pass. He was like stone cold pissed. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like after an interception or anything. It was, he was pissed after the touchdown pass because
he's for sure playing. He's for sure playing better than Rodgers.
Yes. Yeah.
But do you think? I just feel I just want to go back to like the Jets just feel like a LeBron NBA team where they just threw all these pieces together the first year and they expect it to work. And like the same thing with the Suns last year. I mean, I picked a futures bet the Suns winning the championship because it's the second year of this team, and they added a point guard, which they didn't have a point guard last year. NBA talk, sorry, but the Jets just seem they're just not like they haven't played together. The Bengals have been together. Their core is the same, even though T. Higgins decides to not play every other game. But well, that's all I'm saying. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. I'm just saying that like that was a big topic.
Yes.
People keep talking about it, and for me, it felt like one and the same. But I do think yes, like Burrow. It might just be their faces, man. Like it just like that's just how Aaron Rodgers looks.
And I think there's something to Rodgers having like just Rodgers in general, like the whole situation the last 4 or 5 years. I think that's why sometimes he gets pushed like in that narrative more so than maybe someone like Joe Burrow, who haven't really seen that. It gets shown as more of like a fiery personality, winner personality, kind of like comparing to Tom Brady. Like that's how Tom Brady would get. Like strive for perfection, and maybe that's more what it is just because this whole Rodgers story has been dragged out for 3 or 4 years now, and bridges were burned, and comments are made, and maybe that's why you get that feeling, and you just kind of have that negative connotation to it sometimes.
Yeah, he's been the heel with everything.
Yes,
like from politically on the field, all of that.
Yep.
So I feel like that definitely ties into it. But anyway. Quick tangent there.
Good question. I like that. That was a good question because I never thought I didn't think about it that way because I know we were talking about it in our group chat. So
I just thought it was interesting because, like, I mean, it's also New York. It's also Aaron Rodgers, so it's under a microscope.
I do think the worst thing that could happen to New York though is them to go like be competitive and get to like right around 500 and miss the playoffs. I'm not kidding, because then you probably bring it back one more year. You bring all these guys back one more year. Instead, it hasn't really worked. It's probably not going to work.
What if it does?
Yeah. I mean, but you think like you think they're going to go 10? I mean, we just talked about it, and they have a chance. Anyone can win on NFL. Anything can happen, but it just feels like one of those.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be competitive this year. But if they have some sense of success, I think Aaron Rodgers looks fine. Like I've said this.
I agree.
I've said this every week. It just looks like every time he snaps the ball, he blinks and he's touched by the defense, or he has to throw it away. Like every route all of his receivers are running are quick out routes.
Mm-hmm.
Like Garrett Wilson is the most targeted receiver in the league because he probably just looks. Aaron Rodgers probably just looks at him in the huddle. Is like, hey, I don't have much time.
That catch he made was sick last week. It was unbelievable.
Also, again, really quick, can we just make the 1 foot rule like in the NFL? Like, why is it 2 feet? It's one knee, it's one shin for some reason. It's one side of your butt.
Yeah.
It's one hand. I don't know. It's like
forearm, yeah, like
I just don't. But it has to be 2 feet, but it can't be the same foot.
Do you know what's also funny? Is it like it can't be? You can toe tap and fall out, but if you toe tap and land backwards, like your heel hits the ground, it doesn't count.
Just make it 1 foot. Just make it 1 foot. What's a catch? You know?
Yeah, it's just,
like I think I heard someone say like, what if you catch the ball and you land on your right foot and you hop twice and then go out of bounds? Is that not a catch?
That happened with George Pickens and it wasn't a catch.
No, but like you hop, like let's say you catch it. Let's say you turn your ankle and you catch the ball and you don't want to put your left foot down because you just sprained your ankle.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. Like you're well in bounds and you just hop twice. Essentially.
What if you just start hopping down the fucking field and then get pushed out of bounds?
I mean, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but
no, it won't. But I'm just saying that like is that a catch?
Probably because you make a football move. I think that's probably part of it.
What's a football move? I
do agree, though, that the 2 feet down, I think everyone thought that was going to be a catch until they said it and said, hey, 2 feet doesn't count, or 2 of the same foot doesn't. I agree. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, that absolutely should have been a catch.
But how is your shin in bounds, but your knee is not?
No, your knee's in. Knee counts as 2 feet.
Yeah, but your shin also counts as 2 feet.
I don't have an explanation for that one.
Yeah. Anyway, stupid rule.
It is a stupid rule.
Just make it better.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. AFC South. I know your answer on this one. Titans, Jags.
Big out of both of them.
All right. AFC West. Denver and Vegas. 5-4 Denver Broncos.
I think the Broncos I think are very much alive. Raiders no, obviously for obvious reasons. But Broncos, I mean, I don't think. I think Bo Nix will be fine. I think he'll be an average quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be a stud quarterback by any means. But they have a good defense and they're well coached. Typically, that leads to success. So I think they're going to be in it until the very end of the season. They'll be battling for one of those, probably the 6 or 7 seed till the very end of the season. There's really only 4 teams battling for wildcard spot, 5 if you include the Jets, and it's Bengals, Broncos, Chargers, and then either Colts, Steelers, or Ravens. Oh, and Colts. I guess Colts are in the shoes. How many is that? Colts, Steelers, Chargers, Broncos, Bengals, and then one of Steelers and Ravens. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going to be that last playoff spot is going to be there's a pretty big drop off after like the Jets, because then it goes Titans, Dolphins, Browns, Jags, Raiders, Patriots,
all with 2 wins. It's like the most teams with 2 wins at week 9 in NFL history. There's like 9 of them. It's insane.
Man, the Jets, man, they are so close of being relevant. It's wild. All right, anyway, onto the NFC. This is probably an easy one. Cowboys, Giants, NFC East.
Yeah, on both of them. I would say if Dak didn't get hurt, maybe there's a chance for Cowboys. But man, the Cowboys are bad. They're just bad.
Oh, they're
not a good football. They're not a good defense. Sucks. Offense sucks. Dak isn't that great. CD's not having a great season. Like, just shambles. So I'm out on both.
Yeah. I mean, that division's weird. Commanders 7-2 is so weird.
Nuts. It's kind of cool though. It's one of the. It's like the Lions. It's just one of those teams that it's kind of fun to root for because they're never good.
As an Eagles fan, I strongly disagree.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Yeah.
NFC North.
I mean, I think the Lions, Vikings, and Packers will all make the playoffs. But yes, I know we talked about it already. Out on the Bears just because they're going to lose.
The gauntlet.
I mean,
Yeah.
they got the unbelievable gauntlet coming up.
God, that division's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
6-3, and you're in third.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the NFC South, 6-3, you're in first. Panthers, Saints, probably easy out.
And then I think the NFC West is the most fun division in football, just because
you could put all four of these in this conversation.
Yeah.
So what two teams are you out on in this division?
I don't think I'm out on any of them, but if I had to pick,
You have to pick two.
Oh God, I'm gonna go Seahawks.
Okay.
Nothing. They should have beat the Rams. Like nothing. Like I think the Seahawks.
I think
they're all good teams.
They've lost some bad games, games they should have won.
They lost the Giants. I know that they lost. They should have beat the Rams. They were up 13-3, and they should have gone for 2 at the end of the game. Like that was just stupid. He threw Geno Smith threw 2 red zone picks in the fourth quarter. Like,
dude, right when I said I was in on Geno Smith, he's just played the worst football of his life. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go Seahawks, and then I'm gonna go Cardinals. Is my other
one. Who do you think has the best point differential in this division?
I know it's the 49ers.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at it?
I'm literally staring right at it.
All right.
I couldn't fake that one. I was literally looking at the standings, and it was right there. It's
pretty wild that they're plus 28 and they're 4-4.
Yeah, and let's talk about it now. Part of the reason I believe in the 49ers is I knew Christian McCaffrey's going to come back by the end of November. I think, obviously they don't have Brandon Ayuk, but I think it's going to make a big difference. Like I think it'll help them get back to kind of the team they were before, and we've talked about it. Yeah, I put them as in my disappointments, or maybe honorable mention for my disappointments. An episode we did last week. Doesn't mean I don't believe in them, and I said that last week. I think they'll be fine, but I think up until this point, they've technically been a disappointment. But I think they will end up still winning that division, and being a team that no one wants to face in the playoffs. Especially if they're a wild card team. Can you imagine playing San Fran as a wild card team? If you win your division, like if you're the let's say the Lions get the 1 seed, if you're the Commanders or you're the Falcons and you have to play San Fran, like that sucks. That's brutal.
Honestly, they'd be pretty fitting for the Commanders.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
It's like, man, you have this great season and you're rewarded with
the 49ers.
The 49ers. Yeah. Damn.
What about you? What's 2 teams would you knock out? Real quick, I like the Cardinals. I think we both have said from the beginning, like one of those teams that we think can beat anybody. Didn't expect them to be 5-4 and leading the division at this point. I think I said I had them right around 500, maybe a little under 500. So I was thinking 7-8 wins for the entire season. So they've even outperformed what I thought. But I do think eventually they'll kind of fall back to the pack. So, but what about you? What are your thoughts? This is the division I think where anything can happen.
Yeah, honestly, if it's I don't want to agree with you, but if it's not the Cardinals, it's the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that team wasn't supposed to be good and they're like pretty solid, but their defense, the Rams defense isn't that good. And their offense, I feel like, is so fragile. I feel like everyone's just getting hurt. And then Kyron runs the ball 90 times a game. And I just feel like he's bound to, miss a few here and there. But who knows?
I'll give you the Rams schedule, and then I'll give you the Cardinals schedule. Because I kind of agree with you. It could be either one of those. Yeah. Rams getting healthy, I think, makes a big difference, obviously. They've been a different team since they got healthy again.
Puka got that extra rest.
He did get the extra rest. He got ejected.
Yeah.
That was one of the softest ejections I've ever seen. Did you see the play?
Yeah, it was like a push. It was like a push with a closed fist, It
was something that happens after every single play. It's unbelievable. Besides the point.
Yeah.
All right, so Rams, you have Dolphins, Patriots, Eagles.
I like it. Oh, no.
Saints.
Hold on. Where's the Eagles-Rams game? Is it in Philly?
It is in LA.
Well, I know where I'm going.
But then you have Saints. So you have Dolphins, Patriots, Eagles, Saints, Bills, Oof. 49ers,
Oof.
Jets, Cardinals, Seahawks. That's tough. They have 3 very winnable games in Dolphins, Patriots, and Saints.
A
And
lot
the
of
next
those.
4.
A lot of those, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, a lot of those are tough. And then let's see, Cardinals. Cardinals have Jets, Seahawks, Vikings, Seahawks again, Patriots, Panthers. So that's a nice easy stretch, and then Rams, 49ers. I think I like
Cardinals is easier.
I think I like the Cardinals better. Yeah.
Damn.
Yikes. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about this. I think we talk about this every week, but I mean, teams are starting to pull away from each other, and we're starting to learn who's good, who isn't, and are there any like fraud teams that you see, like who are the top 2 in their division?
So, and to kind of talk on that, like what we did before was we would talk about what surprises us the most every week. It's kind of how we start every show. And when we got on this week, there wasn't really any. There's less and less surprises at this point. You're not really surprised by anything. I mean, there will be some surprising wins or losses. Like Buccaneers would have beat the Chiefs. Probably wouldn't have been a little bit, but even that one wouldn't have been that surprising just because the Chiefs haven't looked like juggernauts. All their games have been close. So it's like, yeah, it was still believable. But with the Buccaneers being down so many guys, that was one that I didn't expect to happen. But there's less and less every week that it's like, oh shit, I can't believe that happened. But if I had to pick one team right now that I don't believe in them, but I think it's Houston. I think Houston's the one team right now for me that
it's a good one.
If I am a wild card team, that's who I want to play. Give me Houston in the first round in Houston. Ton of injuries to the receiving core. They should have got lost by more to the Jets. Like the Jets left so many points out there. Malachi Corley dropping that ball on the goal line. Like they should have gotten destroyed. I know it's a Thursday night game. You're on the road. You just saw Stephon Diggs. You're trying to integrate new players. So like that was kind of a trap, like not a trap game, but it was going to be a tough game.
It's a tough game to win, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And CJ Stroud, I think, is kind of going through a little bit of a sophomore slump. He was airmailing passes last Thursday night against the Jets. He was overthrowing receivers, missing open guys. Run game still looks good. Joe Mixon looks good, but that's the one for me where if I had to pick one out of the teams leading their division or kind of in that battle for their divisions, is the one that I probably believe in the least. I mean, I guess technically the Buccaneers are second in their division, and that'd be the other one just because of their injuries, but they're 4-5, so I don't really count that. I'm thinking
they still look pretty good, though.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they should beat the Chiefs.
Baker's playing so good, yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
This might be a all right, I'm gonna give 2 that are very unpopular opinions right now. Vikings, Commanders.
I like the Vikings. I do like the Vikings because they start as a juggernaut 5-0, but I'm with you. Sometimes it's like the visual once you start watching them. They've been on primetime a few times, and once you start watching them, you're like, oh shit, this team really isn't that good. I don't know how to explain it.
Can I read you the last 4 wins for the Commanders?
Yeah.
Browns, Panthers, Bears, Giants.
Nice. What was their combined? What was their? Yeah, and they should have lost to the Bears. That was a Hail Mary.
They should have lost the Giants week 2 because the Giants didn't have a kicker.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bengals should have beat them week 3.
I don't know if they should have beat them, but yeah, it was a close game.
I'm just saying their resume is pretty brutal. If this was college football, they'd be like,
their strength of schedule or whatever.
Yeah, their strength of schedule is not great. That's why. I mean, I saw that. I was like, holy shit. And they have Steelers, Eagles next 2 games, and then they get the Cowboys, Titans, Saints. Oh my god.
Yeah, those are 3 easy games. They'll get the Cowboys without Dak too.
Yeah.
Have they played the Cowboys already once this year?
No.
Okay, so they'll probably get them at the end of the year too. So out of those 2 teams, who do you believe in more? Commanders or Vikings?
Vikings.
You believe in the Vikings more than the Commanders?
Yeah, I just feel like they're more of a complete team. They got a better defense, even though they just got Marshall and Lattimore. I just I say the Vikings are more of a fraud just purely on their division, and we don't know as much about them. And then that kind of is the same thing with the Commanders as well. Is like we don't really know much about them. They're very new, but at least the Vikings have beaten like good teams. You know, they haven't beaten anyone who's good. Besides their best win is you can pick between the Cardinals or the Bucks
or the Bengals. Even I think those are all teams with 4 or 5 wins. Like those are the 3 teams that are probably.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that. That's a very good point. Yeah, because then at least the Vikings have 49ers, Texans, Packers as wins on the resume, and then last second field goal loss to the Lions, right? I know they only lost by 2. I believe that was end of a game loss.
And their schedule coming up: Jags, Titans, Bears, Cardinals, Falcons, Bears again. Bears.
Yeah, no, they'll at least win 1, 2. They'll win at least 4 or 5 out of the next 6.
Yeah, it looks like they've gotten the hardest part of their schedule out of the way.
Yeah. The Packers lines to end the season's tough, but yeah, I agree.
But who knows if that's going to mean much for those teams? You know, like
true. Mm-hmm.
Like with how the Lions look the last game of the year, they might sit everyone, and then maybe the Packers game that might be their biggest game of the year, week 16 or week 17.
17 technically. Yeah. That'll be a good. You know, I think both these teams are going to make the playoffs, so that'll be probably for position of the wild card because I think the Lions are going to lock up the division. That one will be interesting.
I'm just saying, like, when I think those 2 teams are teams you'd want to face. Like, if you're in the playoffs, you're like, oh, I want one of them. You know.
Yep.
Really quick, Tuesday was a big day in the NFL world. Any big trades that get you all?
Those jokes cracked me up all day. It was like big news today. It's the biggest news of the day. NFL trade deadline day. It just cracked me up.
Big day.
Big day. So NFL trade deadline is always so underwhelming compared to like basketball and the NBA and some of these other sports.
It's not as plug and play. You know, you have to learn. You have to learn shit. And like it takes like a week or 2 to get going.
And I think coaches look
at D-Hop.
Yes, right. I think coaches like having players that have already been in their system the entire offseason, training camp. They've gotten 6 months of work running the offense, defense. It's harder to integrate people. I actually think most of the big trades happen before the trade deadline. DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper. I know Josh Uche got traded to the Chiefs, which I think is going to be a big one. Those are the ones. Yeah, Devontae Adams. Thank you. Like the big names usually get traded well before the trade deadline.
Yeah,
it's not usually the guys at the trade deadline.
Usually the guys that get traded at the deadline are to add depth.
Correct. Their depth pieces, injuries, like Bengals, for example, traded for Khalil Herbert, who I think is a good running back from the Bears. He wasn't being used. Zach Moss is out for the year, so they needed a running back. Like that one, that's what those trades are for. Is hey, we really need someone with some sort of experience to come in here and who could play on Thursday and help our team because behind Chase Brown we have nobody. So I'm trying to think of like what even the biggest. Probably Marshawn Lattimore is probably the biggest name that got traded.
Oh, for sure.
Legitimately on Tuesday. And I know he's not the same Pro Bowl player that he was a few years ago, but I think he can still help your team win. And
he's still so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still think like that. Because what did they trade? This 3rd and 4th, I want to say. Was
3rd and 5th.
Third was the 3rd and the 5th.
I think a 3rd and a 5th, and it was Lattimore and a 6th or something like that.
Is that what it was? So I'm trying to think of who else were the other big names that got traded.
That's it.
I think that was it, right?
Deontay Johnson, but that was
Deontay Johnson. That was before to the Ravens. I do think he'll show up tomorrow against the Bengals. He torched the Bengals when they played the Panthers, so that's just great. Like he torched the Bengals. Cam Taylor-Britt. So as soon as that trade went through, I was like, oh shit.
And I think the biggest one was Jonathan Mingo.
The Cowboys, a 4th round pick.
Yeah, that's wild.
That one.
I heard didn't they trade Amari Cooper for like a 5th?
5th. They traded away Amari Cooper for a 5th, and they traded a 4th for. It's just like
they must love him running. Well,
it's just unbelievable, dude. Like I just the fucking Cowboys. I just don't know. If I was a fan of the Cowboys, I'd be losing my mind. I'd be losing my mind.
I saw it on when they were talking about it on Sports Center. They were like showing his highlights, and every catch he made was like either Andy Dalton or Bryce Young throwing from like their own 6-yard line. Every single one, just because they never get it past. They can never get it past the 50. It was funny, but you must see something in him, and he's just trading a lot of like weird draft picks for guys that either will give him like little production or a guy like Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm actually like, I think they're starting Cooper Rush. I kind of want them. I feel like they should play Trey Lance.
Why
just
not?
Because like you traded a 3rd-round pick for Trey Lance. Might as well figure out what the fuck you have in him. If you traded a 3rd-round pick for him, like I know you just paid Dak and stuff, and you're probably Trey Lance isn't going to be your future. But hey, if he performs well, flip him for someone else. Like at this point, trade him for a 3rd-round pick. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Get your pick back because you're not going to get any use out of him. Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's weird. It's weird. Some of these backup quarterbacks or some of these guys who get drafted, they're really good college players or have a lot of hype coming out of college, and they just never see the field. Like I was thinking about,
translate,
or they just never get an opportunity. It's like the kid from Tennessee who got drafted to the Lions, Hendon Hooker.
Oh yeah, Hendon Hooker. Yeah,
and that, like people were thinking like, oh, maybe he'll take over for Goff, but Goff looks like he's going to be there for another fucking 8 years.
At least 5 years, yeah. At least probably another 5 years. He's mid-30s, so he's got time left. Yeah, no, that's true. No, it's a good point. Trey Lance is another one. Like Geno Smith, he's one who took forever. He's now getting his chance 10 years into his career, 12 years into his career.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about it, but fit matters, situation matters. Sometimes you get lucky. Tom Brady, if Bledsoe didn't get hurt, we might have never even had Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like he might have never seen the field anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Brock Purdy.
Yeah, exactly. Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy would be selling insurance right now.
Yeah, he probably would be. Or cars or something.
Yeah.
We're at a car dealership.
Like a 7th round, last pick of the draft. Like, we're not going to re-sign you. We're going to get another guy.
Or he'd be coaching or on a practice squad somewhere.
Yeah.
He'd be like, assistant coach. The other big one at the trade deadline was Darius Smith. I did forget about that one going to the Lions, from the Browns to the Lions. And he got flipped for a 6th-round pick. It was like, he's a player that's going to come in and help the Lions right away.
He's been bouncing around a lot.
Yeah, he has been.
3rd or 4th team?
How many sacks? I think he had 12 sacks for the Browns last year, I want to say. But he's had double-digit sacks like almost every year. Like with the Packers, he was really good. Didn't he go to the Texans? Here I'm pulling up his. I'm gonna pull up his stats from the last few years. So he was on Baltimore, Packers, Minnesota, and then Cleveland.
Oh, Minnesota.
He only had 5.5 sacks. He had 10 for Minnesota 2 years ago. That's what it was. But he had that stretch there where he had 13.5, 12.5, 8.5. And he already has 5 this year. So he's going to help generate some pass rush for a team that, missing Aiden Hutchinson doesn't seem like they're missing him too much because they're still being very dominant. But obviously they miss Aiden Hutchinson because he was, former defensive player of the year.
I don't know if you've seen some of their pressures, and their pass rush has been significantly worse.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Their run defense is great, but their pass rush has been significantly worse. But that it's obviously going to make sense if you lose a guy like Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep. They had DJ Reader for the run game, so that's why that's been helpful.
Your boy,
my boy, miss him.
All right, do you want to get to our picks?
Yes. Yeah, let's do the picks. All right, so we went 5-1 last week, which is fantastic. Mike went 3-0. He's back on. He's back on top. He took the win of the week. It brings him to 11-10-1. So he had Commanders -3.5, Dolphins +6, and Rams -1.5. That Rams game, that was close. Overtime game.
Hold on. I'm above 500.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Love that.
I think you were 8-10-1 coming into the week, so now you're 11-10-1 because you went 3-0.
Wow, I thought it was something completely different. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Maybe not. And then I went 2-1.
Playing from Brian's PC.
Shut up. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my headphones hooked up to something else. I am 21-6 because I went 2-1.
That's insane, bro.
I know, it's nuts. It's unbelievable. I felt bad that I lost one.
I'm 11-10-1. You're 21-6.
Yeah, let me,
bro. That's fucking insane.
let me double check yours because maybe I didn't update it from last week. But let me double check.
I thought I was like 12-12-1.
Maybe, yeah, I could be wrong. You were okay. Never mind. Yeah, you're 12-12-1. I forgot to add a week. So you are 12-12-1. Still good though. Right. Hey, that's still good. You're batting 50%. Can't be mad at that.
Brian, first of all, it's batting 500.
But yeah, whatever.
And I don't need your charity. I don't need your what do you call that when it doesn't
Pity?
matter.
Pity?
Yeah, exactly. But I get to pick first this week.
You get to pick first. You did get to pick first. So I will say I liked a lot of the ones for this week. I was going through them.
I just looked at it and I like it.
I was going through them and what I like to do is I like to place them right away because they're bets I'll probably place anyway. And then I like to pick the best three, and then I placed 3 of them, and it was like 3 of the first 4 or 5 games that I saw, and I was like, oh shit, I should probably at least check the other ones before I just start placing all these bets. But I did like a lot this week.
Dude, there are a lot that I like. Holy shit. All right. Since I get to pick first, my first pick is going to be. Oh, man. All right. Lions -3.5 against the Texans.
Yeah, that was one of mine. Yeah, that was a good one. All right, so my Lions -3.5. What are the odds currently at?
-108.
-108. I like that one. That was one of mine. That was the first one I placed. So yeah, that was the one that I probably liked the best because it was the first one I saw. They were like, and we just talked about Houston and how
they're bad.
They're bad. They're not bad, but
they're frauds.
Yes, they're frauds. Right now, when Nico comes back, I think it'll be a little bit better. But
yeah, I agree.
All right, I'm gonna go Bills -4 against the Colts.
Damn it, dude! That was my second one. I was deciding between those two.
That one was the other one that was super obvious, and that's at -108.
That's a really good one.
I just think, and we didn't talk about the Colts much this week, but
they're confused.
I mean, Joe Flacco looked terrible. I know a lot of us were excited for Joe Flacco to come back. He looked terrible.
In his defense, the Vikings have a great defense.
Yes, they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Yes, it's a very fair point.
And there were some conspiracies saying that they didn't want to put Anthony Richardson out there again, and play that defense. All right,
they didn't want him to get tired, so they didn't play.
Oh my gosh! Wow, I just saw another one that I liked. Fuck. All right, I'm gonna go Falcons -3.5 against the Saints. Yes. Okay, good. I picked right.
Damn it!
I mean, that's a really low line.
Yeah. Well, so I got it when I did it today. It was -102. What is that right now?
-112.
-112. Okay. Yeah, I like that one a lot against the Saints. That was a no-brainer. I almost did that one as my first one. I was debating. All right, I'm gonna do my next one. I'm gonna take Vikings -5.5 against the Jaguars.
Dude, I have -4.
Oh, do you? Is it -4 right now?
And that was gonna be my next pick. But yeah, it's -4, -112. Right. You're welcome.
I'm gonna take it. Yeah, I'm gonna take it at that then.
I mean, that I almost picked that first.
I need to cash out of my other one and replace it because I got it at -5.5, so I'm gonna take it at -4.
Yeah, seriously. I'm on DraftKings right now.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, here I'm gonna cash this out. We're gonna do it live.
Also, we will be posting all these bets and more of Brian's favorite bets throughout the week on our Twitter /X @AthletePod. Please follow, like, subscribe on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube as well. That'd be great. @TravelingAthletePod on those. @AthletePod on Twitter.
And once we're done with these, I gotta talk about my betting strategy and how I've changed my betting strategy. So once we're done with these,
that's what we're here for.
Quick talk.
That's what we're here for. Now I'm struggling here. Those were good ones. These bets are.
Those were like right off. Those were my first 4 right off the bat.
It feels like it's almost too good. Like Vegas wants to lose money this week.
No, we're gonna go watch. We're gonna go 0-6.
That'd be brutal. Don't put that evil on us.
That'd be terrible.
Oh man, I almost just said an under. Man, Brian, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna go. I haven't been doing good on those unders, have I?
No, I don't think you've won a single one.
Okay. No, I did.
You won 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Patriots, Titans.
Yeah, you won 1.
All right, I'm gonna go. Man, I'm gonna go over 50.
Oh my god. Let me guess the game. Hold on. Oh, okay, never mind.
Dolphins, Rams.
Dolphins, Rams. I don't hate it.
But it is prime time. Hold on. Pick's not in yet. God, that's... If it wasn't prime time, man, I'd be jumping all over that. That's my rule. I can't break my rules, man.
Is that the Monday night game or Sunday night?
It's Monday night. Monday night. That's like real prime time, you know?
Yeah.
The only game on that day.
I feel like Sunday night's the real prime time. I don't know why.
I know what you're saying. It's because of Carrie Underwood.
Probably. It's probably why, yes.
It's because of Carrie Underwood. Dude, I have no idea. I
see how quickly you picked your first 2? And now this one you're just...
They look so good, and then you literally took the only ones that I liked after that.
I still think there's a couple good ones out there.
All right, I'm going to go Steelers +3 against the Commanders.
Okay. That's a good one, actually. I just call the Commanders frauds for the past 20 minutes, so...
Russ is back. Danger witch it up.
-105.
Mr. Unlimited. -118.
I have it -105. I'm gonna give you -105 because I'm looking at it right now. Oh, I'm looking at the fucking next week. I'm an idiot.
Well, you said it.
-118.
All right, what's your last pick? It's gotta be something weird.
I will say though, that's one that I could see the argument either or taking either one of them. The Commanders -3 or the Steelers +3. Like I could see the argument for both.
I agree.
All right, my last one.
That's why it's my 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
Traded for Trey Lance.
I'm gonna go
over what?
No, I'm gonna go 49ers -6.
Really?
Yeah. I just think
that's good. That's good. Seems
against the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I just think they just played a really hard fought game against the Chiefs, and not that I think the Buccaneers are bad. I just think they still have these same injuries. Mike Evans isn't going to be back. They needed to win that game. They should have gone for 2. They didn't win the game. Sometimes that's the snowball effect, right? Yeah. Is we were so close to beating the defending champs on the road in prime time. I don't know why they didn't go for 2. It was so stupid to not go for 2.
I agree.
And
it lost me in my fantasy matchup.
Well, it's also just like you're the underdog on the road against the best team in football in the rain against Patrick Mahomes. What the fuck are you doing? Down so many players.
Then you have to rely on a coin toss.
Correct. Like, get your best 2-yard play out there. I don't care what it is. If it doesn't work, like at least you went down. I don't know. That's just I can't
every single person, even if it didn't work, every single person in the United States, even on the week that it landed on, would have agreed with this one thing.
Yes, I agree. Which makes sense.
The week I'm talking about is trade deadline week. All right, last one.
So yeah, I think that's one of those ones that I think not to get derail a season, but the fact that it's under a touchdown, I think the 49ers win by a touchdown. So that's where I'm going with that one. So that's my last one. 49ers -6 and -112. So I'll run through them real quick. Mike got to pick first this week after his big 3-0 week, back to 12-12-1. Falcons -3.5, Steelers +3, 49ers -6. And then for me, sitting at a nice 21-6.
No, wait.
Huh? What?
Read mine again.
Oh, I put 49ers -6 for me. For you. Whoops. Wrong column. You're right. Whoops. All right. You had Lions -3.5.
Yes.
Falcons -3.5.
Yes.
Steelers +3.
Yes.
There we go. There we go.
Got it.
Wrong column. Wrong copy and paste. All right. I got Bills -4, Vikings -4, and 49ers -6. And I'm sitting at a cool 21-6.
Brian. Some would argue it's a hot 21-6.
You know what I mean.
That's unbelievable, dude. You've never done this well in anything. I don't think anyone's done this well in betting.
No, this is a tough one to do. And on that, betting strategy. I want to get on my betting strategy a little bit.
All right. This is going to be a clip, so make it good.
All right. So my strategy through the first few weeks, and this is what it's been for, I've kind of done this the last few years with NFL, is I love the big parlays for anytime touchdowns, like 5, 6 legs, 7 legs, kind of longer odds.
Speaking my language.
I don't take anyone minus odds. If it's -105, I'm typically not taking it because I don't want it. It's, your Derrick Henrys, your Christian McCaffreys, your Kyron Williams, get them out of here. Yeah, get them out of here. I don't want them. I'm kind of changing that. Fuck me. God damn it.
What happened?
Hold on, my headphones disconnected again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Just restart what you were saying.
Okay, so do you want me to restart the whole fucking thing?
Restart the whole thing, man. Everyone's confused.
Betting strategy. We're gonna start over. I used to do these 6, 7 leg parlays, nothing under odds, so no Kyron Williams, no Christian McCaffreys, no Derrick Henrys, none of that shit, because it wasn't worth it to me. I wanted bets to win 8, 9, 10 grand, right?
You're trying to pay your mortgage.
Correct. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. But I would place these bets, like our bets that we do, player props. I place probably 12 to 15 of them a week. And that's kind of that's kind of like my money that I like to keeps my accounts full, that I can do these other fun ones that you don't win them all. But as long as you go, 8-5, typically you have enough left over.
21-6.
Yeah, or 21-6, which has been great for me, by the way. That 21-6 has been fantastic. But I have now, and I started doing this on the Twitter account last week. If who forever followed it, I did a lot more 3-leg parlays, kind of more favorite odds. I still do 1 or 2 of those longer odd ones. Like I used to do 6 first TD parlays.
That's wild.
And it just felt like this is stupid.
You're trying to retire tomorrow.
Yes, I'm like throwing money away, so I've brought that back down to 2. I have 2 a week. I do 1 in the early games, 1 in the afternoon games because I like to have an option. I still want the afternoon games to potentially hit. And I'm doing more 3, 4 leg, kind of stick into more heavy favorites. And then if I do a longer odds one, I try and find a 3-leg of a couple at +300, +400. So I still have 1 or 2 of those bigger ones in there. But I feel like I was getting too over the deep end. So I'm scaling it back. We're bringing it back. We had a lot more success this past week, and I felt good. I felt confident about it. So yeah, I was placing too many bets, placing too many massively long odds parlays that just were never going to hit, and it was just I was donating, and it was making me feel like I needed to place more bets on like night games and stuff for like player parlays or straight up bets because I was placing so many of these fun bets. So I'm scaling those back, and I'm upping my units for my straight bets for like these like our bets that we're doing now. I started doing that probably week 4 once I was whatever I was like I gotta start placing more money on these bets because obviously I'm having success with them. So just changing my betting strategy. We're scaling back the big massive ones, trying to get more 3, 4 leggers to kind of hit that plus 1,000 instead of the plus 25,000.
Yeah, that's Hey, whatever you're doing, man, it's working.
Keep doing it.
Just
Yeah.
keep doing your thing. We didn't talk about any NBA this week, but really quick, the Milwaukee Bucks are terrible. They're 1-6. Dame Lillard is not good anymore.
Yeah.
And by not good, he's not at his level. He's a couple levels down. He can't guard anyone. And if you don't think people play defense in the NBA, watch a game. Every shot's contested. The highlights you see are just people just clowning and trolling the NBA. But the Bucks are not good right now. The Sixers are not good right now because Paul George has only played one game. Embiid hasn't even come back yet. Who knows what the hell is going on with him?
So, and I wanted to ask you about that, like on this podcast. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the whole Embiid situation? Like, what the hell's going on there?
I hate everything about it.
Yeah.
No one knows what's going on. He plays the Olympics but can't play the regular season. He talks about how he wants to stay healthy for the playoffs, but that's never worked. It's worked one time with Kawhi Leonard, and he still played like 50-something games. So I just don't understand what the hell is going on, and I can't believe that the Sixers are letting him do this. There is an investigation going on with all that too, so it's a whole thing. But let's talk about the good things. The Cavs 8-0. Who would have thought? They look good. Garland's healthy. Last year he broke his jaw, and ever since then he was terrible. The Celtics are 7-1. Unbelievable. And those are the only two teams that are over 500 in the East. The next best. Those are the only two teams that are over 500 in the East.
Dang.
The Heat are 3-3. Knicks are 3-4. The Nets are 4-4. Pacers 4-4. It's wild. But then the West, Thunder, they're so good. They're 7-0. They're going to be a really good regular season team, and who knows? I mean, the way that organization has turned around since the whole KD, Russ, and Harden thing broke up is great, and they still have like a million first-round picks, so they're only going to get better, and they're only going to build. Suns are 6-1. I think they're going to win it all this year. Kevin Durant is so good. He's still so good.
He's going to be good.
Obviously, if Bradley Beal is your third best player, he's always been a guy who should be your third best player.
Yes.
He should never be what he was with the Wizards. He's
salt in the wound there still a little bit. Nah, he was great for the Wizards.
Yeah, good stats, bad team guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
Yeah, and then the Warriors 6-1.
That's what I was going to say. The Warriors. We talked about at the beginning of the year, and that was one of my thoughts. Was what do you think about the Warriors? And I think they've probably overperformed what.
For sure. And they didn't have Steph for like 4 or 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. And they just beat the Celtics. So that's Lakers are 4-3. I know everyone loves the Lakers. They stink.
Yep.
They're probably gonna try to trade for your boy Zach LaVine as like a holy shit, we need somebody kind of trade.
He needs to go anyway. Bulls need to blow it up.
Bulls are fun, dude. Have you watched any of the games?
Yeah, I've watched some of them. I haven't watched every game, but I have been keeping my, whenever they're on and I'm available, I've been watching them.
I mean, they just lost by 20 to the Mavericks, but they're ranked first in pace. And last year, I think they were ranked like mid-20s.
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah.
So, and...
I mean, Zach LaVine is still a stud, though. Like, he's still such a good player. Yeah.
He can't be your best player, but he's a stud. And if he knows his role... that's like the biggest thing. But they're first in pace, so they're fun to watch, and they're shooting a ton of threes, and they look good. And yeah, they'll probably be a play-in team. It's
like they have been for the last 6 years.
Yeah, I really don't know what that organization wants to do.
Fuck it.
But yeah, so there's your NBA update. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do with the gambling part of this, but
it's hard.
We're gonna stick with the NFL until the NFL is over, and then we'll move over to the NBA.
Yeah, it's just hard.
I'll give a good 10 minutes every week for the NBA, either before beds or after, like we're doing now. Maybe after, because we'll just
after.
break
it up.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's no good, like the NBA is hard for gambling just because when you do it on it, like we do these podcasts on typically Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and sometimes lines are out for, weeks before. We want to make sure we don't pick games that are happening Thursday because this might not listen to. We want to try and pick something for the weekend, so it's just hard to pick games. I know Mike threw out potentially we pick a team for that week as long as they have like 2 games and you ride with that team. But that's hard because then it's like, hey, I really don't like him against this matchup, but you do have to do your research ahead of time. So
or if a player sits.
Yeah, player sits. That's the other hard part. Yeah. That's the shitty part about the NBA. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna, after we do this, there's no games on last night, unfortunately. Last night, as in trade deadline day. And so tonight I'm gonna sit down and watch a couple games after I get back from the gym, and I can't wait because I've honestly watched like 2 games this year, and I've seen a bunch of highlights, and I listen to a lot of NBA podcasts, so people I trust who aren't like clickbait. I'm gonna talk about the Lakers and Celtics,
the
kind
entire
of people.
Time. Yeah.
So
I do feel like basketball is one of those ones that it's same thing. Like give it the first month, and then it significantly picks up.
Yeah. It's kind of tough to know now, and then plus like you have big stars like Embiid not playing. Kawhi hasn't played yet.
Yeah, well, Kawhi's dead.
Dude, I'm gonna go. The Clippers just built a new stadium. Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
Apparently, it's unbelievable.
Are you gonna go?
Oh yeah, it's like 20 minutes away from me too.
Oh, nice.
So it's even closer. It's like right next to SoFi. Yeah, and then I'm trying to get to the Bengals Chargers game. Sunday night.
I know they just moved it back to Sunday night. It was supposed to be a 4 o'clock. What was it supposed to be 3 o'clock? Or what is that? 2 o'clock your time? No, 1 o'clock. Jesus.
Yeah.
So what does that make it on Sunday night? 5? It's nuts. It's wild. It's a 5 o'clock game.
I kind of like it, dude, because you just wake up and there's sports on, and like I was in Florida for 2 weeks, and
Eastern's the worst.
I was like, damn,
Eastern's the worst.
You have to wait, but then at night you're like, oh shit, it's 11 o'clock. There's probably a game on.
Well, so I was in Eastern time for a week too. I can't stand it, dude. I can't stay up that late.
See, I like it because at least something is on to watch.
I guess that's true because your time right now, 8 o'clock, games are over.
They're ending, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's so great. That's wild. See, Central is perfect because they end at like 10:15, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
if they ended at like, I think every game should end around like 11:30.
Okay, so you'd like Eastern. So you do like Eastern.
I do, but I want them to start
earlier. You just need more games throughout the day. That's what you need.
I know, man.
Start to finish.
I'm a glutton when it comes to sports, man. I just need
10
it
to
all.
10. 10 to 10.
I need to get into like European soccer or something.
Yes.
Ugh.
Those games all across the board.
Yeah, but no offense, but have you watched soccer?
I have. I don't like. I do like soccer. I just don't understand the rules. I don't have a team. I do understand the rules to a certain extent. I don't have a team. I didn't grow up playing soccer, so it's just not. It's not my. Not my.
Yeah, no, I don't understand the rules. It's so funny. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I need to get into like maybe rugby or something.
I know soccer would be a good one to get into because like that's all year round, all times throughout the like. If you had a soccer team, I feel like it would be. Obviously, a lot of people who love watching soccer. If you have a team, I think it's fun to do.
We should pick a team and follow it.
And just follow. And
give updates.
That's actually not bad. I'm down. I'm 100% down to do that because I've always kind of wanted to get into it. I never.
We should pick a team. We need to pick a team that's from like a kind of cool city.
Okay.
And their uniforms are cool.
And we gamble on them.
Yeah, and they can't be the best team, but they can't be like
the worst. Yeah. No, I'm in. All right. Homework for next week.
We'll do research. Yeah, homework for next week. We're picking our soccer/new football team with a U.
I'm excited, actually. I love it. I'm always jealous of people who have a soccer team. So I'm
and we're gonna buy shirts.
Yes, jerseys.
No, we're gonna buy shirts. You can buy a jersey.
You're gonna travel to Europe to watch them play.
We're gonna have a traveling athlete pod field trip.
Yes, and from a game.
And we're gonna watch our new favorite team, to be determined, next week.
I'm in.
We have a few soccer people in our life, so we'll maybe ask around, or should we just do it?
I mean, I think it doesn't hurt to ask for, hey, what does any of this mean? There's 9 different leagues. So we gotta figure out what the hell we're doing. There's so many different leagues.
I'm excited for this, actually.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited.
It's gonna be fun. All right. Follow us at AthletePod on Twitter, at Traveling Athlete Pod on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. That's way too many. And we'll be back next week.
See ya.